Hello everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me?
I
Hello.
can hear you. Good evening.
All right, good evening. That's Mickey, right? All right, thank you for joining in. And again, apologies for not making it last week. I had power issues, so I was not able to make the class on both Friday and Saturday. But today, we're just going to look at something else. But before that, how many of us were able to practice what we did the last time? So, so I'm just getting to Slack and I saw that some people dropped me some messages, which I will look at later. But how many of us were able to practice anything from what we did the last time? Please, I want our feedback. Can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, hello.
So you can hear me. I was asking a question and nobody was responding.
I was able to do them, but the bad lab, I got stuck.
Yeah, I saw your message on that. Anyone else? Okay. So not to waste time, it's yeah, difficulties. Okay. Maybe we'll take some minutes after today's session to look at those. So I think what we'll do today, we are going to be looking more into Linux terminal. So I don't think we have covered that before. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But I know we did some things on open source intelligence, and then we started looking at some web application vulnerabilities. We're just going to roll back a bit and look more into Linux operating system, try to understand how the Linux terminal works. We look at some basic Linux commands and some common functions you can perform in the Linux environment. So I'm going to go ahead to share my screen. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes,
Ah,
sir.
so for this particular session, I think I want to make it as interactive as possible. So please, I'm going to be giving us some exercises, and I'm going to expect you to try them out. So I will need you to be on your system. I'll start up your Kali Linux system. We are going to use Kali Linux, or if you don't have Kali Linux, you can also start up Ubuntu desktop. Just going to be using the Linux terminal, so it should be the same thing on both. So wherever we have exercises, I'm going to give us like 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm going to ask us to share our screen to see what we have done. So please, if you're not on your system, try to power on your system while I talk through this introduction. So for today's class, like I said, we'll be looking more into Linux command line, Linux commands generally. So as for the objectives, we'll try to understand the command line basics. Then looking at getting started with Linux terminal, we're going to be using the bash shell. Then we'll look at performing some common activities or some day-to-day activity using the Linux operating system. Oh, Mickey, sorry about that. There's no problem. Okay, so we'll be looking at carrying out some common functions like file and folder management, like how to retrieve system information on a Linux system, then some text manipulation, and also how we can obtain network information on a Linux system. Then we have a couple of exercises in between. So to get started, we'll talk about what we mean by when we say a shell. What do we mean by a shell? So a shell is a command line interface program that interprets user commands and executes them on a computer operating system. So you may have heard of something like saying, open a terminal. I may have said it a couple of times when we are looking at some sessions on web application security. So when you say open a terminal, when I say open a shell, what do I really mean? So a shell itself, it's a command line interface. Uh, it's a command line interface program that interprets the user commands and executes them on a computer operating system. So a shell is that screen that you can type in commands to, it gets executed and we get results back. So it's basically acts as a bridge between the user, us the user, and the operating system, allowing users to interact with the system using text-based commands. So from a Windows environment, most of what we do, you use your mouse, right? So you want to go to your file explorer, you use your mouse, you click on something, it pops up. You want to open a folder, you click on it with your mouse, it pops up. Those are mouse-based commands, right? Those are they are GUI, they are graphical user interface operations. But using shell, you can pass commands or execute commands on the system using text-based syntax. So you can type something like ls, and it's going to list files and directories in a particular location. So it's when we use text-based commands to interact with the operating system. That's what shell allows us to do. And you can think of a shell as the translator between you and your computer. So when you type a command into the shell, it basically understands what you want to do and communicates that to the computer operating system. So which then performs that particular action. So it's just like giving instructions to your computer in a language that it understands. It's just like you are passing instructions to the computer in a language that it understands. So that will take us to our terminals. What are terminals? So while we use shell and terminal interchangeably, they are a little bit different, but most times we just use them interchangeably because they tend to mean the same thing. So a terminal, which we often refer to as a terminal emulator, it's a software application, and that's what provides us access to a shell. So shell itself is not the black thing you see. If you open a terminal on Kali Linux, that terminal is what gives us access to a shell, give us access to execute those commands we want to execute on a shell. So it's a graphical interface that allows our users to enter commands and view the output of those commands in the text-based environment. And we can think of terminal as the window through which you communicate with the shell. That's how you can think of terminal. So when you open the terminal application, it provides us with a blank screen where we can type commands. And the terminal then sends those commands back to the shell for execution and displays the results back to us. So if we're talking about terminal, you probably wonder what a terminal is. It's something you are quite familiar, you may be familiar with already. So I will log into Kali. I'm just going to open a terminal so we see what the terminal looks like. So in Kali here, we have this icon up here that says terminal emulator. So I'm just going to open that. And this is basically what the terminal looks like. It's just this interface where we can enter commands and execute it and get results. That is, when we say terminal, this is what I mean by a terminal. Just this screen, we can enter commands, execute it and get results. So going back to my slide, we'll start looking at some common activities we can do with the terminal. So talking about how to get started with Bash, right, which is a popular terminal Yeah, popular terminal in Linux. There are several terminal options we can use. I know there's bash, there's sh, there's zsh, but bash is a common one. So we have looked at the Linux terminal prompt and its appearance. So I try to show us I've tried to show us what the terminal looks like. This is basically what it looks like. It's just, and to access it in Linux, it's very simple. If you are in Kali, you can either come here, up here, click this icon, or on your keyboard, you can press Ctrl, Alt, and T, and a terminal will pop up. So these are the two ways you can open a terminal in Linux. In Kali Linux, even on Ubuntu, it's the same thing. It's still going to work that way. And the terminal is just gives us a prompt so we can enter some commands, execute it, and get outputs. And yeah, so yeah, this is just how we can access the terminal. So after knowing how to access the terminal, this should be terminal shell, not terminal PowerShell. But let's look at some basic commands we can run in the terminal. So to explain this, I'll try to use Windows and Linux together. So I'll try to explain some activities you already know on Windows, and then explain how we can do that same activity or perform that same action in a Linux environment or on a Linux system. So first off, the first command we're going to look at is the pwd command, which stands for print the current working directory. And what do we mean by that? Now, if you're on a Windows system, there are some times that you want to go to your downloads folder. So something like maybe you open your file explorer and you want to go to downloads, right? If you click downloads, that means your current location, your current working directory is downloads. If you go to your documents, that means your current working directory is documents. So what current directory means is just where you are currently in the file system, where you are currently on the operating system. That's what just the working directory means, the current working directory means. So even though we can use mouse and do all that in Windows, you can also use mouse in Linux, but getting familiar with the terminal is a good thing to master, to learn as ethical hackers, as red teamers. You need to be familiar and comfortable with using the terminal. So what the pwd command does is that it prints the current working directory for us. And to see that in action, like I said, we need to practice this ourselves. So I'll be going back and forth between the two screens. So running pwd command, if I type pwd in here, what this is going to show me, let me make this a bit bigger and see if it's better. So if I type pwd, what this is showing me is just showing me home /home/ Kali. And that's like saying this is my current directory. This is where I am currently on the file system. If I go to downloads, for example, I'm still going to talk about the cd command, but I'll just use it for now. If I go to my downloads, just like you on your computer, on your Windows system, go to File Explorer and click on downloads. So if I go to downloads, for example, and I do pwd again, this is going to tell me, okay, now I'm in my downloads folder in my home directory. So what this pwd command does is just to show you where you are currently in the file system. So it's a very simple command. The next one, which may be important or useful, is ls command. So let's say you are in a particular directory on the file system. And when I say directory, I don't want us to get confused. So on Windows, we mostly call everything folders. So if you are on Windows and you say you have this folder or I have that folder, a folder is also a directory. Just that in Windows, we tend to call it a folder more. On Linux, we tend to call it a directory more, but they are the same thing. So when I say folder or directory, I'm referring to the exact same thing. So when we talk about the ls command, what this ls command does is to help us list directory content. So if I have a particular folder or a particular directory, and I want to see what is inside, I want to list the content of that directory, I want to know exactly what is in that folder, I can use the ls command. So it's just the command is just short for list, right? So, and it's going to list everything that is inside a particular directory. So now to see how that works, I'll go back to the Linux terminal. And currently I'm in this home directory. So we know that we can use pwd to know our current working directory. I'm in my home directory, but if I want to see everything that is in this directory, so now this is not showing me everything in the directory yet. I'm in a terminal, but I want to see everything in this directory. I can type ls, and it's going to show me every file and folders I have in this current directory. So I have some things here. All right, so I have some things here. So this is just going to show me everything I actually have in that directory. Just going to give everything to me here. So it's just like on Windows, when you click on when you open your file explorer on Windows, it's just the exact same thing, right? It just show you everything you have in that current directory. So that is what the ls command does for us. And then the command I used earlier, which I have not explained, is the cd command. And the cd command is short for change directory. And what it does is to help us change the current directory. So going by my analogy earlier, you may open your file explorer on Windows and you click on downloads. That means you want to go to downloads. Or you click on documents. That means you want to go to documents. So that action you are performing is like saying you are changing directories, right? You want to change your current folder to downloads. That means you want to go to the downloads folder. You are changing directory to that. Or you want to go to documents. You are changing directory to that. Or you want to go to pictures. You are changing directory to that. That is what the cd command allows us to do in the terminal as well. So I'm here, I've done ls. I can see that, okay, I have folders and files. And by the way, if you're on Linux terminal, this kind of terminal, and you notice that some of these texts are white and some of them are blue, what that means is that these white ones that are just plain white, they are regular files, they are normal files. And all these ones that are blue, they are folders or directories. That's why they have different colors. So all these ones that are blue, they are like folders, and all these white ones are regular normal files. So now that I did ls, I see that I have some folders, I have files. Let's say I want to change directory to a different folder or directory. So I have this folder called cache envoy. So let's say I want to change directory to cache envoy. How do I do that? So how I can do that is to type the cd command. So cd and enter cache envoy. So when I press enter, we'll notice something that this has changed, right, to cache envoy. And the other way we can also confirm is by doing the pwd command again. So we know that pwd will give us our current working directory. If I do pwd here, I can see that I'm now in cache envoy. If I go back a bit, let me just go back. Cd. So if I do ls, I have all this. If I do pwd here, I'm still in my home folder here, right? But immediately I change to cache envoy.
In October last year, he announced a plan to cut the executives that traveled back.
And I do pwd again, I'm going to be in this cache envoy folder or directory. So the cd command on Linux is going to take us to a new so the directory we want to change to. So just to change directory. So cd is just short for change directory. That will take us to directory we want to go to. And if you are in a Linux terminal and you just type cd without any argument, so if I just type cd alone, that will automatically take me back to my home directory. So it does not matter how many folders I'm in. Let's say I'm in like 20 nested folders together, and I want to go back to my home directory. I can just type the cd command without any argument, and it will take me back to my home directory. So the next command we can look at is mkdir, and the action is to create a new directory. So on Windows, you may want to create a new folder, maybe you have some movies you just collected and you want to put them in a new folder or something like that. So normal way you do it on Windows is to maybe look for, right click on your desktop, go to new, then select folder, or you can open File Explorer and then click the new folder button from there. Same app, you're still going to perform the same, and you're still going to get the same results. But we can also create new folders or directories on Linux, and that is what the mkdir command can do for us. So going back to the terminal, I have this terminal open, right? So I've done ls. These are the directories I have currently. So let's say I want to create a new directory, right? I want to create a new folder and call it tech The way I can do that is by using the mkdir command. So I can simply type in mkdir and then the name of the folder I want to create or the name of the directory I want to create. Again, directory and folder, they mean the same thing. So let's say I want to create a new folder. I want to call it Tech IT Girls. So I can use the command mkdir and then type Tech IT Girls, right? So if I do this, it's going to perform the action. It's not giving me any outputs. But if I do ls again, we'll see the folder created here as Tech IT Girls. And of course, it's highlighted in blue because it's a folder. So that's how we can make directories. That's how we can create new folders in Linux. So Tech IT Girls. And now if I want to change directory to this folder, let's say I want to go into this folder and maybe put files there, I can do cd. So I can do cd and give the name of the folder, Tech IT. And now if I change my current working directory, I'm in that directory we just created. So to create a new directory in Linux, you can use the mkdir command. And the other command you can use is the rm command, which is to remove files or directories. We're going to talk about that more in a minute. So I'm just going to move on to the next slide now. So for the next slide, we have an exercise, right? Which we are going to skip over this because there's no practical thing to do here. It's just for you to open the terminal, explore the terminal, experiment with typing commands, and familiarize yourself with basic navigation using the keyboard. But I'll start asking us to share our screen from the second exercise. So now let's look at copying, how we can work with files and folders. So we know what files are from Linux, from regular Windows. Files are just basic files like any Word document, any TXT file, any PDF, any kind of file. They're just regular files. So once you can work with files and folders in the Linux environment, we are going to use some commands to do that. So one of the commands you can use is the cp command. So if you have noticed, most of the commands we are using, they are quite intuitive. And why I say that is because most of them are just like short forms of the action they are performing. If I go back to this, if you want to print the current working directory, you are just saying pwd. That's like shortening the actual action you want to perform. If I want to list something, the command is ls. If I want to change directory, the command is cd. If I want to make a new directory, the command is mkdir. So just like we are shortening the action we want to perform and making it into a command. Now, to copy a file or copy files or directories in Linux, we can use, of course, you can guess it, we can use the cp command. So most of them are just short form of the action. So if we want to copy, we can use the cp command. And I can show us how that works. So currently, in this, so let me change directory here. So currently, I have a file here called, let me say a good one to use. So I have a file called test.py in my home directory currently. I have it in my home directory. If I check the directory of Tech IT Girls, it is empty because there's nothing inside. We have not put anything in there yet. What I want to do now is to copy this test.py file, and I want to copy it to Tech IT Girls folder. How can I do that? We can use the cp command for that. So I can do CP, and then for CP, the syntax is to specify the source and the destination. So the source is what you want to copy, and the destination is where you want to copy it. So I'm going to say CP, then the source is test.py. That's the file I want to copy. So that's my source. And destination is where I want to copy it to. So I want to copy it to Tech IT Girls. So again, the syntax is going to be CP, which is for copy, the source, which is test.py in my case, and then destination, which where I want to copy it to Tech IT Girls. So if I run enter, it's not going to give me any output again. But if I do ls on Tech IT Girls folder, now before when I did it, it was empty up here. But now if I run it, I'm going to have this test.py file in that particular folder because we have copied a file to that particular location. So going back a bit, so similar thing for our mv command, which is to move. So there's only a minor difference between copy and move. I mean, if you copy a file from one place to the other, that means the file is going to exist in both locations, right? Because you are copying from one place to another. But if you move a file or directly from one place to another, that means the original one is going to move from where it was currently to a new location. And to move a file, the command is just mv. So similar to copy command, which was cp, the command to move a file is just mv. So I think I should demonstrate that as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new file, a new empty file, using the touch command. We're going to get to what the touch command is much more later, but I'm going to create a new file here and call it move this file.txt. So currently, if I do ls here, I have this file called move this file.txt here. If you know before the test.py file, I copied it. So we still have it in this location, and we also have it in the Tech IT Girls folder. But move this file, instead of copying, I'm going to move it. So similar syntax to copy, the command is mv, then we need to specify the source, which is the file we want to move. So I'm going to say move this file.txt, that's the file I want to move, and where I want to move it to, which is going to be Tech IT Girls. So if I do this now, and this action should go through, that means this file should no longer exist in my home directory, but it should exist in the Tech IT Girls directory. So if I run this, no output again. If I do ls, we notice that the file is no longer here. It used to be here, right? If I scroll up, we'll still see it. We'll see it was here. But now that I run it after moving the file, it's no longer here. But if I check the contents of Tech IT Girls, we'll see the file has been moved here. So that's just the simple difference between CP and MV. You just copying a file, you have the file in the two locations, but moving a file, you only have it in one location where you moved it to. And we can also remove files or directories using the rm command. So the rm command is the command we can use to remove files or directories. We have already looked at mkdir, you have to create a new directory. Rmdir will just remove an empty directory, but talk about the rm command, so which is to remove a file. So say for example, I go to the Tech IT Girls folder. We have two files here, move this file.txt and we have test.py. So if I want to remove any of these files, I can just use the rm command. And what the rm command does, so the cp command, when we looked at it, requires two arguments, the source and the destination. The mv command requires two arguments, the source and the destination. But if you want to remove a file, if you want to delete a file, you need just only one argument, which is the name of the file you want to delete or the name of the directory you want to delete. So that means here, if I want to delete move this file.txt, I can just do rm, which is short for remove, and then specify the name of the file I want to remove. And if you have noticed, I'm not typing the full file name. So what I've been doing for most of the time is, if I know that the name of this file is move this file, right? If I just type like something like mov, I'm pressing tab on my keyboard. So the tab key on your keyboard will perform auto completion activity. So it's going to auto complete that particular file name for me. So if you have noticed, that is why it's looking like it's filling up very fast. So I'm just typing the first few characters and pressing tab on my keyboard, and that will auto complete it. So the syntax again is rm, which is for remove, and the name of the file or directory we want to remove. So in this case, I want to remove this move this file.txt file. If I run this command, it's going to get executed, and if I do ls, I no longer have that file. I only have this test.py file. So one thing we should take note of here, deleting files in the Linux terminal can be very dangerous. The reason being that on Windows, for example, if you mistakenly delete a file on Windows using your mouse and stuff, or you click on a file and you press delete, by default, it will go to the recycle bin. So if it was a mistake, you can easily go to the recycle bin and restore that particular file, unless you use shift delete together, which is permanent delete. So let's say you didn't use shift and delete, you just use normal delete. It goes to your recycle bin, and you can easily go there to restore that file if it was a mistake. But from the terminal, if you delete a file from the terminal using the rm command, it's not going to any recycle bin. Once you delete a file from the terminal, it gets deleted off the system automatically, and there's no way for you to easily recover it. So that's why if you want to perform any action on the terminal that involves deletion or modification, you need to make sure that is the actual command you want to run. So the cp command, the mv command, there are still things we can reverse because the file is still on the system. But if you remove a particular file or directory from the terminal, it goes off the system completely. So we need to take care or take notes of the commands you are running, especially when it comes to deletion commands. So that is some simple commands on working with files and folders. So this is where I'm going to give us an exercise, and I'm going to call on some of us to share our screen so I can see how far we are going with it. So this is the exercise, right? So I'm going to explain what you need to do, and see how many of us will be able to go through with it. So the first thing here is to open your terminal. So open your Linux system. So power on Linux from your virtual machine or Ubuntu desktop, anyone will work. Just open up a terminal. Then by default, you should be in your home directory. So you can skip the first tags here. You should be in your home directory by default. If you're not in your home directory by default, just type cd command. It will take you back to your home directory. So the exercise now is to create a new directory using the mkdir command, and the name of the directory is going to be terminal practice. So capital T, capital P. That's one thing you need to note in Linux actually. On Windows is not case sensitive. That means if you try to do cd downloads capital D or small letter D in Windows, it's going to work. But on Linux is very case sensitive. So if something should be capital T and you use small letter T, it won't really work as you expect. So create a new directory named terminal practice, capital T, capital P, using the mkdir command. Move into that terminal practice. So for that, you need to use the cd command. So you can create a new file named example.txt. You can list the content of the directory to confirm the confirmation of the text file, confirm the creation of the text file rather. Then you have to copy the example.txt file. Rename the copy to backup.txt. Then you can delete the original example.txt file and also remove the terminal practice directory and its contents. So that's the exercise. I want to see how many of us can attempt to complete this. So before I ask us to share our screen, how many of us are on our system and are going to do this exercise? If you're on your system, please signify in the chat. You are not on your system at the moment. Okay, so I think, okay, Praise, you are, okay. Praise, you can go ahead. But I think what I will do to save time, since I still have some issues to address from people that has issues with the last exercise, I'm going to go ahead with the slide, and I'm going to share this slide with us. Or I have something else to give us as an exercise actually. So, oh, okay, and I'm going to share the slide so you can look at the exercises in the slide and practice it. But I have another exercise to give us actually. So let me just talk more a bit uh about this. Now I think I should this should take us through the basics. The next thing I want to walk us through should be on triacme if I can find it. So please give me a minute. Um Let me see if I can find this. Don't know why, but network is a little bit slow. Okay. Okay, so I think this is the room I want to us to look at. So it's a room on triacme. I will share the link to the charts. So there's this room on triacme I want us to take a look at, which is Linux Fundamentals Part 1. I'm going to walk us through some parts of it, then give us exercise to complete the rest. So that will be like 2 exercises we are going to have, but I'll explain it as we go on. So the Linux fundamentals part 1 room is just going to be teaching you about Linux generally. So introduction to Linux, a bit of background, interacting with all that. So I'm going to start with the introduction. So what is going to be covered here, like I already explained from the beginning of the class, is Linux. So everything Linux, I mean, not everything Linux, just some basic fundamental knowledge you should have about Linux. So the history of Linux, how it all started, running your very first command, teaching some essential commands to interact with the file system, and also introduce how users and groups work. So we may not be able to do that today. Probably just for today, just to understand Linux, understand the basics of Linux, how it all works. So I'm going to expect every one of us to go to this room. The link is in the Slack channel. So go to the room, join the room, because you need to join the room before you can answer questions. So join the room and answer some of these questions. So for the first one, there's no need for an answer. You can just click complete. So no answer needed. Then the next thing talks about a bit of background on Linux. So how Linux actually started, the different flavors of Linux that we have out there. So I'm going to, I want us to read this and then answer the question. So the first question is, what year was the first release of a Linux operating system? It's a research question. You can simply just type this question on Google and you'll see the answer. Just supply the answer here and submit. Again, as a pen tester, as an ethical hacker, Googling stuff is going to be what you do often. So it's best we get used to it now. So I just read all this and then do this research and enter the year. So and this will also, so for TriAcme, what they do is so most people may not have a Linux operating system installed, right? So what TriAcme does is to give you access to a Linux environment right from your browser. So you may not have to install Linux directly. But for this, we are going to use the one they have in the browser. Of course, it's going to be the same thing on your regular Kali or Ubuntu desktop. And to access this, you can just click on this start machine. So you can click on start machine, and that would start a Linux in your browser, a Linux system in your browser for you. You will see it come up at the side here. But when that is coming up, for this one, there's no answering there as well. So I'll just click on complete. So going to running your first few commands now. So we'll look at, we have already discussed, told us what a terminal is, how to open a terminal and all that. So let's look at some, we've already looked at some basic commands as well, but let's look at some other commands that we can use in Linux as they have stated here. So the two commands they have stated here is the echo command and the who am I command. So what the echo command does is to output any text to provide. We are going to see how that works in a bit once this VM is up. And the other command is to find out who you are logged in as currently. Now, you may be wondering why the who am I command is important, why you need to find out what user you are currently logged in as. A Windows system, this is something you should keep in mind, especially when it comes to pen testing, when it comes to hacking. A Windows system is a single user system. It's a single user architecture by design. No two users can be logged onto a Windows system at the same time. If you have two accounts, let's say on your system currently, you have multiple accounts, right? If you want to use the other account on a Windows system, you have to sign out of an account first before you can log into the other one. So Windows is a single user system. You have to sign out of one account before you can access the other account. But Linux, on the other hand, is a multi-user system. That means multiple people can log in to a single Linux system at the same time. So you need to keep that in mind. You need to keep that in mind because it's very handy when it comes to pen testing and all that. So Windows is a single user system. Linux is a multi-user system. That means multiple people can be logged in to the system at the same time. That is why using a command like who am I is actually very effective because you can find out who we are currently logged in as. But let's look at what this two command does now. So echo command. We have been told that echo is going to output any text we provide. So we have this terminal open here. We have this terminal open up here. So let's say, I want to see if I can make it bigger, but I don't think so. But just look at where my cursor is, this black screen. If I do echo and I say hello, to see what happens, it just gives me hello back. So what the command does is just to output any text we provide. So if I say echo hello girls, thank you for joining today's session. If I do something like this and I press enter, just going to give me that text back exactly. I know it's a bit small. I don't know a good way to make this bigger. I don't want to be in full screen because I need this as well. So Echo is just going to output whatever we type back to us. But the who am I command is more useful because we can use the who am I command to find out the username of who we are logged in as currently. So even though Linux will show you by default, so if you notice, this part is your username and the other part is the system name. Even on our own Kali instance, if you take note of that as well. So if I go back to my own Kali instance, this part is my username and this part is the host name. So if I do who am I, I'm currently Kali, that is showing on this part. If I do host name, that's like the name of the system, that's also Kali. That is why I have Kali at Kali here. if I do that in this browser, who am I is going to show me me because that is why I'm logged in as currently. Or if I do host name here, that will show me Linux one. So from this syntax, you can actually know who you are logged in as currently because it's going to be your current username at the host name. But we have those two commands and we have an exercise here. So the exercise is for you to output this text. What would the command be? And then what is the username of who you are logged in as on your deployed Linux machine? So I'm not going to answer this for us. I'm going to expect us to go to this room and try these exercises, try to complete it. And if you're able to complete them, send me a screenshot. So next we talk about interacting with file system. I think we have already discussed some of these commands. So the ls command, the cd command, the pwd command, I have talked to us about that. The only command I've not talked to us about is cat. So I'm going to move down and talk about what cat command does. So the cat is not the regular cat and dog, right? Is what the cat command does is to help us view the content of a file. So using the ls command, we can know that a file exists. If I want to see all the files in the current directory. So if I do pwd here, I know that I'm currently in the /home/me, which is the home folder for this user. If I do ls, I see that there are a couple of files. There's just one file, there's access.log, and then there's folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, folder 4, right? Well, now I know that there's access.log, it's a file, but I don't know the content of that file, right? So we can, using the ls command, we can know that, okay, a file exists or a particular folder exists, but it's not all that useful unless we're able to view the contents of that particular file. So we will come on to discuss some of the tools available to us that allows us to transfer files from one machine to another. I'm just reading from what they have in this room. But first of all, we're going to look at the command called cat. So cat is short for concatenating, and it's a fantastic way for us to output the content of a file, not just text file. So to view the content of a file, if you just want to read a file, on Windows, you probably just double click the file and it will open up in an editor for you. But if you want to view a files from the terminal, we can use the cat command. So now we know that we have this access.log file, but we don't know what is inside yet. If I want to view what the contents, I can simply type cat and then the name of the file I want to view, right? So if I do this, it's going to give me the content of that file. And this like the content, this like everything in that particular file is just, you can access.log for a PHP web server, which you don't need to worry yourself about for now. Just keep in mind that it's going to display content of a file. So I want to go to folder 1 and see if there's a file we can work with. So ls folder. Okay, so in folder 4, we have a notes.txt. So if I want to view the content of this notes.txt, I can do cat notes.txt, and it's going to show me the contents. And the content is just hello world. So cat is how we can view the content of a file in a Linux environment. And we have some exercise here on that as well, which I'm going to expect us to complete. Again, if you're able to complete exercises, just take a screenshot, send to me. Then the other thing they talked about here is using grep. So I think what I will do is I'm going to stop here actually. So what I'm going to expect us to do before tomorrow in this particular room is to complete tasks 1 through 4. Yeah, so I'm going to expect us to complete tasks 1 through 4. I don't want to oh, I forgot my line of thoughts, but yeah, I don't want to overload this. So complete tasks 1 through 4. And so that is one exercise. The other exercise I'm going to give us is there's learning Linux itself can take a while, right? This is not something you learn in one day. It takes a while, it takes some time, and most importantly, it takes practice to get used to get familiar with. So a good way to learn these Linux commands is one of the good resources I've known is Linux Journey. So I'm also going to share this link on the Slack channel as well. So one good resource to learn Linux, to get familiar with Linux, is linuxjourney.com. So if you go to Linux Journey, they generally just teach, right? So they teach the ways of Linux, the way they have it here, learn the ways of Linux for free. So I'm trying to, I think I put the link on Slack channel, right? Okay. So to master some of these commands, like I was saying, it's going to take a while, it's going to take time, take years, not years, definitely. Take weeks, take months to get familiar with some of these basic commands. And the way you do that is by practice, right? So what I want us to do is on Linux Journey, they have different categories. So if you are just starting out, you probably start from the grasshopper section. If you have we are a little bit more advanced, you can go to the journeyman and networking nomad and all that. But where I want us to start from is, in addition to the exercise I gave us on TryAcme, also come to this getting started section of Linux Journey and read through this. Now, Linux Journey does not have user management. There's no way you can create an account or track your progress. So there's no real way to track progress. But what I want you to do is to be sincere with yourself. You are trying to learn this thing, so try to be sincere with yourself. There's no way for me to say, okay, I want to know if you actually answer this, because there's no way they track progress. So I can't ask you to complete a particular pass and send me a screenshot. But just be sincere with yourself. Try to go through with the questions. So come to getting started, you can read through. So read the history. They are just going to tell you some history about Linux, just to get familiar with the environment. You don't have to prime it, right? So just to read through all of this. I think the first section is just about reading. And also, once you read a particular concept, they have some exercises for you. They have some exercises that you can look at, but most importantly, they have a quiz, right? So they have a quiz down here that you can answer. So if you have read this and you think you understand what the concept is, try to answer the quiz, click on check answer, and that will tell you if you are right or wrong. So the first part is all about reading. After you read the first part, the next part I want you to get started from is for it's a command line section, right? So once you are done reading and answering the questions on getting started, just move on to command line. This is where the fun actually begins. So for the command line, they try to explain what the shell is all over again. So I think this will give you a better understanding of what the shell is. And also, they have some exercises for you as well. So the best way I recommend to go about this is, if you are reading this concept, you are trying to understand a particular thing on Linux Journey. Also, at the same time, open this in a browser, right? At the same time, have your Kali Linux VM running. And the reason for that is because of these exercises they have. So when they give you a particular exercise, you can try these commands on your own system and see the outputs. So you can read about the concepts here, try the exercises as well, right? Try it on your own Linux system. Once you try it on your own Linux system, if you think you understand how it works, then come to the quiz. Try to answer the quiz. So this particular quiz says, what should be outputted to the display when you type in echo hello world? In this particular case, if you use echo, not echo will just output whatever you give it to it back. So this should probably be the output for this. I can check answer, and that says correct answer. And even though this says correct answer, like I said earlier, there's no way to track progress. If I go to another section and I come back here, that is gone. So there's no way I can track progress. That's why I said you should be sincere with yourself in answering the questions. I'm not going to ask you to send screenshots from here. Just go through the list. And of course, I'm going to ask us which ones we have went through or not. But just try to read the concept, try out the exercises on your own system, and then answer the quiz and see if you can get the correct answer. So there's PWD, there's CD command, there's LS, there's touch, which is one command I used earlier, but I didn't explain. So I'm going to let us try this, and tomorrow I'll probably ask us what the touch command does. Hopefully someone will be able to explain it to me. So the exercises, each commands. So to kind of go through what I'm expecting from us tomorrow, what I'm expecting from us is you must have your Kali Linux system VM running. So either Kali Linux or Ubuntu desktop, anyone you have, you must have at least a Linux system running. Go to this TryAcme room and complete tasks 1 to 4. So yeah, try to complete tasks 1 to 4 before tomorrow. Send me a screenshot when you complete tasks 1 to 4, and then go to linuxjourney.com. Read through the getting started parts and also the command line parts. So for the command line, I want you to try at least all these commands. So read through all these commands, try to do the exercises. So if they have an exercise section, try to do the exercise and also try to answer the quiz and see if you can get a correct answer or not. If you don't get the correct answer, most times it's probably because you misunderstand something or misunderstood something rather. So if you don't get the correct answer, try to read the content again and try to see if that's going to make you get the correct answer to the question. So yes, I think tomorrow we are just going to talk more about Linux. So maybe try to see how we can complete the rest of this and also finish up on the slide. So we still have a couple of things to look at on the slide actually, but I don't want to overload us with all that. Let's just get the basics first. But I also have Linux Journey here as well. So let's just get the basics and we can look at the rest of this in tomorrow's session. I noticed some people are getting off the call. It's probably network issues, but so do you have any questions for me so far? Any questions, any comments? Can anyone hear me? I think that's where I should start from. I can see people sending chats. I want to hear our voices. I want you to talk. You can hear me. So do you have any questions for me? Purity, and do you have any questions?
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't have any question. It was a nice lesson.
Okay. Thank you, Purity. I know Mickey has been going out and in on the call, probably network. Okay, if there are no questions, I know some people reached out to me concerning the previous exercise. Let me check. And okay, Anne had some issues. I'm trying to see if I can address that on this call. Let me see. Okay, so I think before I even address that, for the web application exercises we did, I asked us to complete a couple of labs. How many of us completed the labs? I know Anne has one lab to complete. But I want us to share our screen. I want to see how many of the labs you have completed so far. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm just going to call us one after the other, right? And please share your screen. I know you sent me a screenshot, but please share your screen. So what I want to see on your screen is the labs on port trigger, the ones I asked us to complete. So I just want to see the place that says solved on the web page. So Anne, please share your screen.
Okay, just 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay. I know Mickey is not on our system.
I am on the system.
Okay, yeah, your system. Okay. You will share your screen then. Rosalind, you said you have some difficulty with the lab. When I get to you, discuss that. So who is Samsung SM? See, I think the person is no longer on the call.
Samsung AOSM, that's me before I had changed my name.
Okay. Okay, Anne, I'm still waiting for you to share your screen.
Okay, just a minute. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
So I'm trying to navigate to where the 3 labs were.
Okay, let me
This is the one that is not solved.
okay, let me find that. Where is it? Um, okay, let me find it.
Um,
I'll put a link on in the Zoom chat.
okay.
Um, Yes, in the chat now. It's on Zoom chat, not Slack.
Okay.
Okay, so you have solved 2 out of 3. I think that's the same screenshot you sent me, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well done. So you can stop sharing. Let me go to Mickey. Mickey, have you completed the exercises?
I'm using my phone. Not mine actually. I've just borrowed so that I can join the class.
Okay. Yeah, I saw what you sent in the chat earlier. That was I was asking. Who was Samsung?
Yeah.
All right, no problem. Sorry about that, actually.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Chris, can you share your screen? Chris, can you hear me?
Grace or PGT?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please, have you completed the exercises? Did you try them out?
Yes, I tried them. Can you see my screen?
No, I can't see your screen. I don't think you are sharing yet. Yes, go ahead and share.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, you're on your phone. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have completed it three.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well done. Thank you. You can stop sharing. Okay. Purity. I don't know if I have seen you in class before.
Hello. I've
Purity.
yeah, I'm connected to my phone, but I can send you the screenshot after the class.
Okay. So have you completed them?
Yes, I have.
All right. Just send me a screenshot then.
Okay.
All right. Rosaline, you said you have some issues with the labs. Which one of them? Or which one have you completed? Rosaline, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, I don't think she can. Again, the exercises I've mentioned to us, please let's just try to do those exercises. So the one on triacne and also some reading on Enoch's journey. PVT is going to send me a screenshot for previous exercise. So I'm going to expecting that. So far, Anna's completed 2 out of 3. Praise has completed all 3. I'm just saying that to keep note of people going through the exercises. So let's do the exercise on triacne and some reading on Linux journey. I'm going to access for that tomorrow. And also the slide I used for today's session, I'll probably send it in just to read the contents there and also maybe do exercise 2 because we didn't go over it in class today. So look at exercise 2 in the slide and see if you can also practice it on your own. So that's like 3 exercises now. But I know we'll be able to do it because we still have some time. So that's where I'm going to stop for today. Do you have any questions or any clarification you want me to make before we end today's session? While we are waiting for that, Talia is not on the call. I think she's the one that takes the attendance, but Purity, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, please let me take note of people on the call currently and send it to me on Slack. Maybe probably take a screenshot of the participants and just send me a screenshot.
Okay.
Let me know when you do that. Like when you take the screenshot, I mean. So we
Done that.
all right, all right. So if there are no other questions or comments or contributions, yeah, you're welcome, Anne. So thank you, ladies, for joining. It's really been great having you join the call. I know we are we are reducing, but I'll try to reach out to more people and try to understand. I know it can be a bit, it can be a lot, right? It can get tiring at some point. There's a lot of commands to go through, a lot of concepts to take in. But thank you for always joining in. Thank you for doing the exercises. And I guess I will see you again tomorrow to continue what we are looking at today. So have a good night, ladies. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.